They'll be calling you a radical. This is a big story. As I called it again, I proved it. My Kevin Blanch, the greatest PhD in human history, sadly right again. Did I call this or did I call this? Now, this is important, and I'm going to dive into these numbers. So, ODFW and their models they met on the 15th secretly. They came out just now today, reported by the Chinook Observer, says, oh my God, just like Kevin Blanch said, they're going to lie. They're going to come out with these bullshit spring predictions. So their projections on the spring run was 160,000, which on escapement should have been well over 500,000. Their lower project. I says, they're just going to come out after the fact, after the season's halfway over or 3/4 over, and then they'll lower them because it's all about selling. Sure shit. We've lowered our projections to 83,000. We're mystified. We're buzzing. Now, hear me out. First off, I want to say this. I want people to understand that I've been fighting for my life for 6.5 years. People think you just walk away from this cancer, whatever. The type of cancer that is in my body, I stood right here, it's going to give you cancer. And the reason I'm right here all the time, I'm tied to that hospital almost on a daily basis. I mean, my life being here is a total 100% miracle. I'll quote Vincent Hansen, Fimbo Peterson. Kevin, you're the greatest miracle I've ever seen in my 40-year oncologist career. I have os de novo leukemia. I got it at 51. The survival rate is pretty well 0. The survival rate without a bone marrow transplant is unheard of. There's one other guy, he's still alive, Brian Morris, he's 9 years. He's got some health issues. Some of the cancers come back after 9 years on him. But I willingly did it without a bone marrow transplant because I felt like the bone marrow transplant would kill me. And so I walked the coast of California, and I went to this really spiritual, incredible mode. And I've juiced. You've seen how I've done it. I mean, every day. So, it wore a aortic valve. I had my aortic valve replaced. My gallbladder ruptured 4 weeks ago. So I'm going back in the hospital tomorrow. They've been blind on all these tests. We've run blind. So I think they're probably going to bone marrow biopsy me. I don't want to, but I think they're going to. I'm going to have a colonoscopy when they got it dead wrong before and told me it was an ulcer, almost killed me. So, I mean, it comes full circle. So I want people to understand this intense, radical, hardcore fight of mine, 6.5 years. Exhausting? Yeah. Enlightening? Spiritual? You don't even know spiritual. You have no clue. I've been on death's doorstep every day. It's been so hardcore. You know, it's been almost surreal. So, you know, I could write hundreds of books, but I mean, this intense fight, I've been so focused on the nuclear crime syndicate. So let's talk about, this is unarguable proof that Fukushima did all this. And listen to me. As a good PhD, I've done it here at the University of Nuclearism, which is the most corrupt university maybe in the country. This White was the president. He was a chemist. I used to tell Pete, he's left now. By the way, he gave the presidential scholarship to this county commissioner that I've showed you, who doesn't even have a degree, the criminal, the biggest terror to the environment in the history of the state of Utah, is the Weber State Presidential Award winner. And didn't ever graduate here, never even set foot on this campus except for to grandstand political theater. I mean, hardcore climate change denier. But I'll get into that later, but let's talk about this. As a good PhD, first off, you hypothesize the knowledge. You hypothesize the factual details. So, Fukushima, they're going to lie, the meltdowns are going to pour into the Pacific Ocean, it's going to genocide the Pacific Ocean, it's going to break the eco chain, it's going to collapse the Pacific Ocean. I called it the Great Pacific Center. It's going to increase cancer rates across America, it's going to kill millions, it's going to crash the Pacific Ocean. They're going to lie and cover up to protect the nuclear energy crime syndicate. Then you have to do the field work for at least 4 years. I've done the field work for 7 years. I got leukemia. Watch it. I literally walked the coast of California documenting 2015, 2014. As you wouldn't believe me, it's killing the tide pools. It's killing the tide pools. So we don't count dead tide pools. I do. We don't count dead starfish. I do. We don't count dead whales. Oh, Kevin Blanch does. We don't count dead humans in bone marrow transplant units. Oh, Kevin Blanch does. You know, my paramount work on the closure of San Onofre, my paramount work on the blocking of Blue Castle Nuclear, my paramount work on the energy solutions, and the Megan Rice trial, Y12, the Indian Point, freaking New York bank bailout, my paramount work all over the world, in Vienna, in their face, you know, going against the NRC, Allison McFarland, you know, all these people. I'm the only one that did it on Earth. So then you have to do all the field. This has been the most incredible hardcore field work you ever saw. then you have to defend your work. So the hypothesis of mine was, we count chinook salmon. They go to sea for 5 years. Steelhead be immediately, because they go to sea for 1 to 2 years. They live in the Pacific Ocean. I says they will immediately start to decline, and they have. They've gradually declined every single year post Fukushima. But the Pacific, I says, they'll run hard based on escapement. We had record returns in 2013, 14, 15. Everybody argued with me all over there. Says, oh, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. I says, if they collapse in 2016, will you believe me? Because that's they go to average sea of 5 years. Why do you think they'll say? Scientists are mystified, they're baffled, they're puzzled, they're curious, they're stumped. Why do you think they say that? I'll tell you why they say that. Because I'm right. They're unwilling to accept, because they have their golden nuclear handcuff. Every one of them should be rounded up and put in prison cells and jails. The marine biologists, the professors, any chemist, the media that's gone along, this is unarguable proof. So 2015 on the Columbia River, 1.4 million. Hypothesized projections, with the projections were dead on in 2015, 2014, and 2013. They were dead on. The projections in 2016 were 1.7 million. I'm like, watch this. They came in at 680,000. The projections in 2017 were 2.3 million based on escapement. That was just a high flow water year, 2017. They came in at 480,000. Now that's projected on 2.3. You do the math, kids. So then 2017, that was just a freak year, high water, freak, blah, 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 blah. By the water, when they rain, this is when these fish run powerfully. So let's talk about these numbers. So they come out, early projections. I'm like, no, they're full of shit. 160,000 when they were at 320. They lowered 160. I says, they'll wait, sell tickets, our licenses, boats, blah, blah, Mitchell Act, retail. Then they'll wait till the season's over and just crash and say, oh, our projections. How can you say projections now? And so that's even if you believe them. They've cut them to 83,000. It came out just this morning today. Chinook Observer reported it. Kevin Blanch, dead on. It's a catastrophe. So what causes it? So as a great PhD, as the powerful, all the truth and the facts are on my side now. So now you have peers. Well, there are no peers. That's the problem. There are no peers. They're all dead. So then they got to come back at you, because you have all the knowledge on your side. Okay, you predicted the collapse. The collapse happened in an acute way. It didn't go like this. It went just like you said, acutely. So that's an outliner. We run regression. I've run regression on my computers in here for, millions of cycles. This blows up out of the mean, their mean, because they didn't plug in Fukushima and I did. It's not your pseudo-de-facto theology. It's not your pseudo-facto sociology. It's not all God's will, bro. Tim Shell, thou mayest. God helps those who help themselves. It's the ecology, stupid. Big fish eat little shit. It broke the chain. It broke the luminescence. It broke the algae scum has moved in, just like this pond scum politicians, these whatever pieces of shit, this abstract fairy tale freaking naive, freaking ignorant Johnny got his gun, freaking well-petting, freaking self-indulged baby boomer, arrogant fucking PhD land we live in. It's disgusting. It's a disgrace. And it doesn't matter if 3 people watch these videos or 3,000. It doesn't matter, because it's recording history. So then they have to come back at you and say, okay, you were right. So we call that an outliner. So it's a major outline. It happened acutely, like my cancer. So you think about the historic work I've done while I've been in critical condition this entire time. I mean, I had my chest split open. You can see me dropping through those tide pools at low tide at Monterey, that historic work. I'm not some YouTube blah, 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 blah. Oh, I do all the fucking work. I mean, this is all I have. This is the byproduct of my work, this is how I presentation, because, what are they going to do? Aaron Swartz it, fucking at MIT Media Lab? These aren't, by the way, all these PhDs and these academia are not PhDs. They're a total fucking fraud. By definition, they're not a PhD. Peer review fucking club is what it is. That's not a PhD. That's not, mine is. So then they have to come back and say, okay, you were right, but we don't think it was Fukushima's. Okay, then it's all on them. Then what was it? The plume? Warm water? I'm the first guy that started reporting the plume. John and I up there on the fucking, in Vancouver, we started reporting the very first. We reported all this first. I'm out there in the field doing all the work, dying. What a fucking story. What an incredible fucking story. Think about the trolls, the PR firms, everybody that's gone at me while I'm in critical condition. Cut off Medicaid, no money, grassroots fucking GoFundMe page. It's all been done on in a public fucking library, the historic fucking at the Water School of fucking Business at the Historic Stewart Library. It's an incredible story. I mean, it's sad, but my place in time. So they murdered my father in Nevada, Tennessee. Then it's like it was meant to be with me. Oh, curse and spite that I was ever born to set this fucking right. It's been hardcore for me. I'm telling you, it's been fucking, I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to watch people go at me. It's heartbreaking to see academia turn their backs on me, media turn their backs on me. You know, it's heartbreaking to see, you know, and this is all I've had to allow comments to what, I mean, you think about what I've had to put up with. It's amazing. So, tell me what it is. It's on you, you fucking nuclear fucking cartel fucking scumbag, ring-kissing monarchy nuclear assholes. Oregon State, Michigan, MIT, right here. You fuckheads who call yourselves fucking, you know, PhDs, chemists, historians, you know, media, fucking grassrooters. I mean, what the fuck is it? What the fuck is it? No, this is acute. It's Fukushima. It's a gas, which I named FU, which trumps the entire periodic table. And you laugh at that, Fukushima? Oh, it's no joke. I mean, it's probably the greatest PhD in human history, sadly. It's a catastrophe. So the Copper River right now is sitting at 499 for the year. On the 10-year mean, they should be at 55,000. It's a catastrophe. It's on. You know, you can go in denial all the fuck you want about it. Cancer rates have fucking went off the hook here, but we have HIPAA laws, right? It's nobody's business how I died. I'm not going to put my loved ones' fucking cause of death in the obituary because I'm self-indulged, arrogant, me fucking piece of shit when it's everybody's fucking business. You've gone along with this monarchy fucking thesis. They played you. They played fucking media and, you know, everybody that's out there, the blah, blah, blah. I'm not that. I mean, they are what they are. The keyboard experts are what they are. And I appreciate all everybody's done in my behalf, but you know, I'm the field worker. I'm the guy that does the dirty work. You know, literally the greatest PhD probably in human history. Sadly, while full of fucking fighting for my life to this fucking day. I'm going to the hospital again tomorrow. So as soon as I get out of the hospital, you know, it'll be a couple days. They're finally going to PET scan me after all these years. We've been afraid. I said no. I've said no more bone marrow transplant. We've flown blind on this. They've just watched me as I've juiced and spiritually I've done a lot of meditation, a lot of praying, and no days off. You know, it's been hardcore. I look back on it. You know, it's been amazing. I've met a lot of beautiful, incredible fucking people, and I've seen more things in 7 years than probably the average person will see in 100 lifetimes. I mean, I could write thousands of books. It's just, I mean, my cup overflow with that. I literally walked through the valley of shadow of death. I've watched so many people pass. I've held their hands pass. You know, people turn their back on me. This historic work. This is a catastrophe. And I know there's a lot of data. I put out a lot lately because I wanted to get this done before I go in the hospital because they're going to finally run all these tests. And then I need to get San Onofre to San Diego. I'll be down there and work with Rachel on that data. You know, this is historic work. And I've always thought somebody will package. They'll take my videos and, you know, and they'll make playlists and they'll patch. I'm going to have to sit down and do that myself, which I'll do it. You know, I can do it. I mean, if you ain't noticed, I'm one hard worker. You know, as my doctor says, that's why you survive cancer, Kevin. That's why this heart is able to operate on it, get that organ valve in there, because all your walking you did on the coast of California, you would never survive without doing that. You know, your ruptured gallbladder, we wouldn't have been able to operate. I got kicked off Medicaid. You think about being kicked off Medicaid while I'm in the store. Gonna have no public assistance, nothing. You know, living on a prayer, literally. Stand tuning. These fuckers ought to all be fucking ashamed of themselves, you disgraceful fucking pieces of shit. It's Fukushima, this is the smoking gun. And I call this again, the Prophet Blanch, boy, look about, you go through it. G collapse, Chicago Bridge, I mean, you go through every video I've had, how fucking deadly have I been? I mean, it's almost freaky to me. I think about it. It's all curse and spite that I was ever born to fucking set this right. But I was. And I've accepted my path. It's been hard for me. It's been hard. All my money, I was a millionaire. You know, you think about what I would have been able to do with that money. I mean, I had 30-something shares of Tesla when I got sick. You know, go through the financial calls on it. Go through it. I mean, I literally would have been worth hundreds of millions, but it wasn't meant to be because all your money, it doesn't matter. You You know, I love my grandchildren, I love all my friends, and I love the environment. I could stand out here and just watch the sky in this beautiful time of year. The birds and I mean, the simple things make me happy. You know, I hope you'll be in Vienna soon after San Diego. Get my work done. You know, somebody's got to do this. It's a fucking catastrophe, and this is the smoking fucking gun they go to sea for 5 years. It's not gradual, it's acute. Record returns in 2050. The collapsing are just like I said, they will lie. Here it is, read it, you fucking tell me. Stay tuned.